Evening, brethren. How is everyone? I hope great. It's a beautiful, blessed day outside. It's nice and warm with a cool breeze blowing. The sun's out. Who knows what the month of March will have since today is the first day of March. But we'll see. I know the world is in crisis right now with everything that's going on. But that's kind of where this video kind of comes in. We see all of the action that's going on between Russia and Ukraine right now. And we see how bad things are in our own country with inflation going above and beyond reasonability. We see gas prices soaring to $4 and possibly going to $5 a gallon by the end of the year. The cost of food is just going through the roof. People having trouble getting jobs. It was bad before, but now that the government killed everything with this COVID thing, it's even worse. But the focus right now is pretty much over with Russia and Ukraine. And that situation kind of is fitting to what I'm going to talk about today. For 3.5 years, pretty much 3.5 years, we had a very comfortable state with the former President Donald Trump was in the office. He made us naturally resource independent. Of course, every dog has fleas, and I'm not going to sit here and chant pro-Trump, anti-Biden. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go either way with this. But we've had 3 decent years, and we're going into 3 bad years of world stasis. And if you compare with what's going on today with what's written in the Bible, you're going to see a whole lot of that prophecy that a lot of non-believers will say, well, it's just a book that was written a long time ago when people got lucky or whatever. Let them talk about how they want to talk, and that's up to them. But for those of us who know and believe the prophecy, there's a segment in Revelations that talks about when the bear strikes. Well, the bear struck. It's in the Ukraine. And without going into any more detail with that situation, many other events that are listed in the Revelations are coming to pass and have already came to pass. Pretty much what happened is during the regime of the other president, when we had all of this peace, or this so-called peace, people were comfortable. And that's what I want to talk about, is being comfortably led to captivity. It's called comfortably to captivity. You see, in the Bible, it tells us about a war in heaven, a war between God and Lucifer, now known as Satan, or Beelzebub, or the bad seed, or the devil, whatever you want to call him. The Bible speaks of this, and there's many names for him. And he and a third of the angels in heaven were cast down to here. There's a war that's been going on ever since that event. The war was in heaven. Those beings got cast out of heaven, and they landed here, and now they're down here. And for whatever the reason was, Satan is down here, and he wants to cloud our minds to let us not realize that we're in a war. Talking about the situation in Ukraine, how many of you would go over and sit down on Main Street with the Russians on this side of the street and the Ukrainians on this side of the street? How many of you would sit right in the middle of it and watch the Super Bowl and eat a bag of popcorn while that firefight's going on? Well, of course not. You know why? Because one, you liable to end up dead. And if you ain't dead, you liable to definitely be captured. And it would not be a place to be comfortable. And that is a very tough word for a lot of people to say. Some people go comfortable. or comfortable. And, well, it's basically comfortable. And if you are comfortable, then you don't pay attention so much to what's around you. Here's an example. How many of you have went to a baseball game? Okay, so you're watching a baseball game and you're watching the winning team, and if they're your team, then you're cheering. And if they're your team and losing, then you're booing and you're negative toward the other team and you're rooting for your team to pick it up. But you're not paying attention to the dude down the street that might be mowing the grass, or you're not paying any attention to another field over there where there's a baseball game. You're not really paying any attention to clouds that move in and out from in the sun because you're wrapped up in this game. You're not paying attention to the breeze where it's bright sun and hot, and then all of a sudden it cools down. You just feel it feels good, and now you're back into the game and you're furious because the referee made a bad call, or the umpire called a strike when it was a ball, or whatever the situation may be. But your focus is distracted from what's going on around you because you are comfortable in that situation. Much like if you were in the middle of that combat zone and you were into that ball game and you couldn't hear the gunfire and see the troops, you just couldn't see it. You're just sitting there watching this ball game, cheering on your favorite team. Whether they're winning or losing, you're cheering for them, and you're not paying attention to anything else that's going on in that world. That's because you're in a comfortable setting. But then, if the Russians go over and they kick you over, or the Ukrainians come over and they kick you over out of that lawn chair that you're in, and they slap shackles and stuff on you and lead you away to a prison, well, you were comfortable, and now you're in captivity because you didn't see it coming. It's pretty much what's happening now. Satan wants you to pay attention to what's going on in the world. Look at the pretty blonde over there. Look at that beautiful redhead. Hey, the stock market's up. The stock market's down. Hey, that dude is stealing an apple out of your tree. Go pummel his brains out. You've got a car and he ain't got one. Rub it in his face. I personally met a guy in Inez about a year or two ago. The Powerball was like $300 and some million. And I was in line. I needed a bottle of water. And this gentleman was standing in front of me. He seemed like a nice fella. And I was talking to the cashier and I said, boy, wouldn't that be nice to win that money? And the cashier said, yeah, it'd be really good. And I said, if I got that kind of money, I'd spread the wealth around. I'd help a lot of people. And I said, how about you, sir? And I said, wouldn't you give me part of it if you want it? And he looked at me and he went, why? Why should I give you any of it? That's my money. And I could see a demon in him filled with greed. That's my money. You ain't getting none of it. I know somebody else that thinks like that. His name is Satan. This is mine and you can't have it. If you want it, it's going to cost everything you got, and I'm going to give you this, but I'm going to take all of that. And that's what's going on in the world. You work for somebody, they pay you a peanut, but they want you to make them a king's ransom. Anybody that's ever had a job out there knows this. You make the old minimum wage, and you work long hours, there's no chance for advancement, and they give you terrible benefits, and they force you to take it, and then they're making thousands of dollars an hour off of your hard-earned labor, and they're going on cruises, and they're taking trips around the world, and vacations every other weekend, and buying 4 or 5 houses, and putting them up for rent, and getting a brand new car every 6 months, and they got big old fat billfold that, they walk down the hallway right there, and their back pocket sticks out about that far because they got so much money in that pocket. Yeah, we've all seen this. And that's the truth. That's how Satan wants it. You have so that they don't. That's his way of thinking. All of these tactics are a diversion to lead you into captivity. He wants to keep you comfortable right now, to keep you not what you would call happy, but to keep you distracted so that you don't see what's really happening. You know, you wouldn't want to take your spouse or your loved one and have a hot romantic night in the middle of a combat zone. You just wouldn't want to do that because you would not be comfortable. Neither of you. You wouldn't want to go do it at the Ukraine, especially right now. Nope. But if you were living in a place that you don't think the Russians were going to attack, such as the Ukraine was the night before all of this started, they were in their houses, snug in their beds, relaxing, comfortable. Then end up dead or into captivity. You see? And that's what Lucifer's doing. See, there's a war between God and Satan right now. And he don't want you to focus on that war. The battleground is earth. Think of it like a chessboard. On the right side, you've got God Almighty. And on the left side, you've got Satan playing chess. Oh, the pieces, that's us. We are the pieces. God is trying to save as many of these pieces as he can. Satan don't care. He wants to kill off as many of them as he can. And he'll turn you against me, and then turn me against somebody else, and then turn somebody else against another. And it's written in the Bible, turning man against his brother till man exists no more. And the way he's doing that is with a multitude of deceit. Anything that's dishonest, deceitful, hidden in the shadows, distorted, that's all Lucifer. Every bit of it. Oh, he'll smile at you. Oh, I'm such your friend. Yeah, he's your friend, all right. He's got a spiritual knife right in your back, and you don't see it, and you don't feel it. Remember, he's a serpent. Most serpents don't even let you know that they're there. You just go along, and all of a sudden you hear this, and you're bit. You don't even realize it was there. Don't see it. Rattlesnakes, though, they like to warn you. They got that rattle, so they kind of get nervous, and they rattle, and they try to run from you. But copperheads, they run you down. So does water moccasins. They run you down, too. And there's a new breed of snake coming about. Rattlesnakes and copperheads are breeding. Imagine a copperhead's aggression with rattlesnake poison. That's a new breed of snake, and that's a whole different beast. But anyway, we'll let the conservationists worry about that. Being comfortable is what Lucifer wants, so he can distract you and keep you off the path, keep you distorted, keep you turned away from what's really happening. That way, in the end, when it's all revealed to you what all was happening, he's going to sit back and go, gotcha. Because he will have you and be too late. You see, the Lord's hollering at you right now. Jesus Christ is hollering at you right now. Come to me. I'm the good shepherd. Follow me. Lucifer don't want you to do that. He's going to bar everything he's got on that one path that takes you to Christ. He's going to put the best of the best of the best that he's got on that path to keep you away. If you're walking, would you go through a minefield to get to the grocery store? Or would you go through what they call a hot LZ, where there's bullets flying on both sides, people M60s shooting both directions, both sides, just back and forth? Would you walk through that? Would you walk through a minefield? Or would you take a path that has a nice paved road with guardrails. Yeah, you'd take that nice paved road with the guardrails. Sure would. Well, if I go through that minefield, I'm not going to get blowed up. If I go through that other field over, I'm definitely going to get cut off. I'm going to look like Swiss cheese when I get through it. Well, guess what? The field with the M60s, guess who's on the other side of that field? Christ. Because that field with the M60s has got Lucifer and his minions right in that field. They are the ones causing that commotion to keep you out. That's why he knows you won't go that way. That's why he puts all that garbage there. So you won't go that way. So, this is where the words, through Christ, anything is possible. There is no impossible with God. Okay. If you really want Jesus Christ, don't you think he can navigate you through all of that? Through all the bullets and the mayhem? Sure he can. You just got to believe in him. And that's what Lucifer is playing on. He's playing on the fact that you're scared and you're afraid, which is what he's all about. You see? Think about it. Comforting to captivity. So if you're laying comfortably, be careful, because there's a snare somewhere waiting on you that you do not see. Once you're in it, you might not be able to get out of it. So think about it and keep your guard up. God bless you.